I'm K9, and you're watching Crime Stories. Imagine you're standing on the side of a highway at 1 a.m., minding your own business, dealing with a fender bender. You don't have insurance, which already not great, but hey, the cop's being chill about it. And then, out of absolutely nowhere, a drunk driver turns your bad night into a life-threatening nightmare. This is the LAPD body cam footage that captures exactly that, and what happens in the next 90 seconds is genuinely hard to watch. So here's the scene. LAPD officer from South Traffic Division gets called out to a two-vehicle crash at Imperial Highway and the 110 Freeway off-ramp. Nothing crazy. Two cars trading paint, nobody hurt, one vehicle's disabled and sitting dead in the intersection blocking eastbound traffic. Annoying, but not exactly a Code 3 situation. He parks his cruiser on Imperial Highway, throws on the emergency lights, and starts doing what cops do. Talking to the remaining driver and passenger, figuring out who hit who. There's also a friend of theirs who showed up after the crash, because of course there is. It's 1 a.m. and everyone's just standing around in the roadway next to the disabled car. Right away on the body cam, you hear the officer doing the most cop thing possible, asking about insurance. And this is where the foreshadowing hits like a brick to the face. I want you to really think about what just happened. The officer is mid-sentence, literally asking for identification, and an unrelated vehicle, driven by a guy who had absolutely nothing to do with the original crash, comes flying eastbound on Imperial Highway and plows directly into the disabled car sitting in the intersection. The force of that impact is so violent, it shoves the disabled vehicle into the three people standing next to it. Let me break down the damage in order, because it's catastrophic. The passenger gets pinned underneath the disabled vehicle. Think about that. A whole car lands on a person, and they're trapped under it. The driver launched 50 feet down the roadway. 50 feet is the length of a semi-truck. That's not knocked over. That's human projectile. And the friend who showed up after the first crash? Somehow, miraculously, not seriously injured. The universe threw a car at 3 people and only 2 got wrecked. That's the kind of luck that makes you believe in guardian angels or RNG. Maybe both. This is where you see the difference between a civilian and someone who's trained for chaos. The officer just watched 2 people get obliterated by a car that wasn't even part of his original call. And he immediately snaps into action. 33, I need a rescue ambulance. No hesitation, no panic freeze. He's calling in a second ambulance before most people would have finished processing the first one. Non-conscious, not breathing, approximately 40 years of age. Cold, clinical, fast. That's not indifference, that's triage. He's giving dispatch exactly what they need to roll the right resources. And then he starts checking on people. You hear him in the body cam going, "You okay, buddy? Senor, you okay?" Switching between shock and professionalism in real time. The audio quality drops in places because, and this is an LAPD thing, body cams have a 2-minute video buffer without audio before activation. So some of what happens right after impact, the camera's still catching up audio-wise. But you get enough to feel the weight of what just went down. So who caused all this chaos? Meet Esvin Archilla, 40 years old, resident of Los Angeles. And according to the LAPD Traffic Group's investigation, the Multidisciplinary Collision Investigation Team, or MID if you want the acronym, Archilla was driving under the influence of alcohol. Let me say that again. This man was drunk at 1:15 in the morning. And he drove his car directly into a clearly marked police scene, flashing emergency lights, a cop car, a disabled vehicle in the intersection, and absolutely demolished 2 people who were already having a bad enough night. The LAPD arrested him for DUI at the scene. The case is going to the LA County District Attorney's Office for filing consideration, and the investigation, which typically takes months, is still ongoing. But here's what gets me. The officer was asking about insurance. These 2 guys didn't have any. They're standing there probably stressing about tickets and impound fees and all the nonsense that comes with an uninsured crash. and then someone else's terrible decision nearly kills them. There's a cosmic irony there that's almost too perfect. Almost. LAFD paramedics transported both the driver and passenger to a local hospital. The driver's injuries were serious enough to require admission. He was kept there. The passenger got treated and released the same day. And the friend who walked away with no serious injuries? That person has the best, worst story to tell for the rest of their life. The bigger picture here, this is exactly why cops park the way they do at accident scenes, with their lights on, blocking lanes, creating a buffer zone. Because the most dangerous thing on any roadway at night isn't the crash that already happened. It's the next driver who isn't paying attention, or in this case, the next driver who's drunk. 1 second you're standing there explaining why you don't have insurance. The next second you're flying 50 feet through the air because someone else decided to get behind the wheel after drinking. Stay safe out there. Don't drink and drive. And for the love of everything, if you're in a crash at 1 a.m., maybe stand behind the guardrail while you wait. That's all I got. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when the next one drops. Peace.